Hi friends, welcome to Loved by Kakao. This is a home for all of us who love Kakao, to share our stories, to elevate the voice of Kakao through voices from all around the world. Here we will connect the threads of light that Kakao is weaving between us, from heart to heart. Thank you for being here. You might like to make yourself a delicious cup of cacao to enjoy while you listen, to tune in with this sacred medicine. I am Pania, lover and facilitator of cacao, and I invite you to step in through the door to this cozy home. Come to sit on a cushion in this circle together, and may we allow ourselves to be here, to be loved by Kakao. Hello my beautiful Kakao friends, welcome back. This is episode 26 and it is also part 2 of a small series that I'm releasing at the moment of all of the episodes that I recorded on my New Zealand motorhome Kakao Loved by Kakao tour last year. So the first one of those conversations was in Raglan with the amazing Irma of Mama Muti Kakao, and that has already been published. So if you haven't listened to that, go and listen to that now if you like, or listen after this one. But make sure you hear them both because they are such beautiful conversations. And this one today is such a gift. It feels like a true invitation to slow down, to tune in with our bodies and our being. So in this episode, we get taken by Rachel Ellis into the plant realms, into the earth, into the fairy realms, into the light realms and lumeria, and into remembering who we are, why we're here, and why Kakao weaves through all of this so beautifully. And we hear some amazing stories from Rachel, and it's just, I feel so honoured to be sharing this episode today, because listening back on it, my whole being relaxed. It is like a soothing balm for your nervous system. So I hope that you'll make yourself a nice cup of cacao and get cozy and tune in. And the energy of it really reminds me of how it felt the day before I met up with Rachel. I landed on the South Island. I got off the ferry with my motorhome, stepped out onto the earth, and it felt like this episode. It was an invitation to really breathe out a sigh of relief and to relax. My whole body and being relaxes when I return to Te Wai Pounamu, the South Island, and I really felt magnetized into the earth, like my roots were being pulled deeper and I could truly slow down. I love returning to this beautiful land. I love living in the North Island now, but I also just adore and at times yearn for the energy of the South Island. It is such a different energy and really, really relaxing is the best I can say for now. So yeah, this conversation feels like that relaxation and a deep connection to nature, because this is the essence that Rachel brings with her deep love and knowledge of the earth and plant wisdom. She is a practitioner of angelic Reiki and of Te Rongoa Maori and so much more. And she also facilitates cacao circles. And I had already met Rachel online through our shared love of cacao drinking chocolate. That is cacao with a K. And we had been able to connect live in some Zooms, but it was so wonderful to meet in person. I met up with her at her home in Blenheim and parked up in her driveway in my motorhome, and we made some cacao drinking chocolate together and sat down and had this conversation. At the beginning, Rachel shares a beautiful karakia, a prayer and I share a cacao blessing, and then we get to hear all of these beautiful stories. So get your cacao ready, and if you want to get in touch with Rachel, her Instagram is in the show notes. It is at reiki.and.rongoa. So check the show notes for that, and let's enjoy this beautiful gift of a conversation from Rachel Ellis. Here we go. Hi Rachel.
Hi.
Welcome to Loved by Cacao. I'm here in Blenheim with Rachel Ellis, and she's a beautiful cacao sister who I'm very, very happy to be able to connect with today. And we're going to have a beautiful conversation, I feel. And we have some cacao with a K in front of us, cacao drinking chocolate. And Rachel has kindly offered to bring us in with a karakia, and then I'm going to drop us in with cacao. So if you're listening and you want to make yourself a cup and join us for a blessing and drink with us while we chat, that would be lovely. And yeah, is there anything you wanted to say, Rachel, before we have a karakia?
It's just a wonderful blessing to be here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on. I've been looking forward to this, actually.
Yeah, same.
Yay. Yeah, so let's have a moment to drop in. If you feel to, thank you for gifting us with a karakia.
It's my pleasure. Tau mai rā te Māori oho, te Māori tau, tēnei te Māori kātou, Māori ora kia tātou, haumi e hui e, tāi ki e. This karakia is an invitation for our Māori, our life force, to settle, to be awoken or enhanced, and connected between you and I and all of our listeners.
Beautiful. Well, let's bring that into leaning into that settling, letting ourselves settle into this moment and feeling that connection with all of the beautiful souls who connect with cacao around the world. Feeling our connection with cacao herself, with the beautiful cacao spirit. You might like to hold your cup or cups and let's just take a nice deep breath. Let ourselves really arrive into this moment right here, right now. Thank you, Cacao Spirit, for being with us. Beautiful, beautiful cacao. Thank you for pouring your medicine into our cups and into our hearts. Just feeling our hearts opening to the love that cacao so generously brings. You might feel that love just wrapping around you like a warm hug. And really receiving that warmth through your hands around the cup and through the energy. And breathing it in. Allowing ourselves to be here to receive, to connect, and to fill our own cups with this beautiful medicine. And so perhaps you'd like to tune into, if you have an intention for this moment. Is there something you'd like to bring to Kakao right now? What's on your heart? What is your intention for sharing with this cup? My intention here is to be open and receptive, to be a vessel for the words that Kakao wants to bring through, and to be open to love and connection.
My intention?
Yeah.
My intention is to be light of heart, to share the light of my heart, to be courageous and unafraid, to share who I am.
I love that. Beautiful. Thank you. Well, blessings. Let's now we have 2 cups here, which is which again? Okay, I think that I can tell.
Yeah.
Which is which. We're going to start with, we have 2 types of Chuncho cacao, and we're going to start with drinking the pure. Yeah. So I've made us a little cup of pure. So let's drink in this goodness. So if you're listening and you're not sure which cacao I'm referring to, it's cacao drinking chocolate, cacao with a K, and the Chuncho is the bean from Peru, and there you can get that as a pure, so it has nothing added to it, or the cacao signature blend. So Rachel has brought her signature blend today, which has the cacao signature blend, which has added chili and panela, isn't it?
And vanilla,
Vanilla.
And panela.
Yeah, panela and vanilla.
And it's a warming chili rather than a spicy chili.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And with the pure, I've added a little bit of honey and a touch of chili, which won't be quite as good chili, but so we thought we would each bring these along and share them, and we met through this beautiful cacao.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So we met online through Cacao Connections, through Mackenzie and other cacao sisters in New Zealand, and we got to meet in person yesterday.
Yeah.
How is it for you, the pure?
It's beautiful. I think this one is not as soupy as the one that's the blend.
Yeah.
And I think that's nice. I'm really loving that I'm getting this strong, I suppose I can taste the purity of it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just getting the flavour profile of that cacao bean that I love so much.
Yes,
Yeah.
true, because I didn't add very much honey.
No, not much honey. Just, what you've added is really subtle, so it just, I think it balances a little bit of its bitterness. And I'm just getting, it's delicious.
Good.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah, because I think you haven't had the pure in a
Not
while.
for a long time, and I think when I had the pure, I was making it the way that I make the signature blend, which is quite strong. I like the soupy texture.
Yeah.
But then the flavour profile, I think, was a bit overwhelming.
Okay.
I think I just also really love the balance of all.
It is a beautiful blend, yeah.
Yeah, all those flavours.
And by soupy you mean quite thick, don't you? So we'll drink the thicker one as well in a minute. But yeah, we've got the slightly more watery pure. It's really interesting trying to get that balance of how thick you like to drink it. And I've really noticed that some people make it much thicker than others.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to preference.
Yeah, and before we were just talking about measures, and so because I like it thick and soupy, but sometimes I might not want as much cacao, I will just adjust how much water I put in so that I get that consistency that I love.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'm wondering, I think I might try the other one now. We can compare. Yeah, I've still got a bit of the pure. So let's compare the signature blend. This is fun. Wow. It's quite a different experience.
It is. And now it tastes really different because I've not done that comparison with pure before. Drinking one after the other. And I can really taste the vanilla.
Yes, true.
I feel like the molasses profile is quite, I'm really picking up on it.
Wow. It's a pretty impressive flavour. It really hits your senses, eh? Ooh, this is already starting to feel good. Oh yeah. So, speaking of flavour profiles, Mackenzie mentioned to me that you know a little bit about the elements and how it affects the flavour of cacao.
Well, I wouldn't say I know. I would say Cacao told me.
Okay, I love that.
And I shared with Mackenzie what Cacao told me. So it was an online ceremony a few years ago. And we just dropped into the meditation part. And all I could see, I felt like I was transported straight away to Peru. And I was the cacao tree where the beans that I was drinking came from. And so I could sense all of the elements in the world around the tree that I was being. So I could sense the rain and feel that filtering through the body of the tree and nourishing the fruit. And I suppose the elemental profile of what the rain held, and also the waters of the earth that the tree was drinking at that time, what nutrients were in the soil. So I suppose it depended on what plants were growing around that tree, and I suppose the season too. So what had fallen onto the forest floor and rotted and given nutrients that then the cacao plant was soaking up. And I also could tell the light codes of the sun. And so this sort of message that I received in that meditation from Cacao showed me that the reason why cacao drinking chocolate, the flavour changes, because I've been drinking it since I think 2018, and the flavour changes, and that's because the plant, so each batch that you're drinking, you're not knowing that you're getting it from the exact same tree every time, and it's a mixture, but the flavour will bring the codes that the forest has received at that time. So if during a really important part of the ripening period of the fruit, if there's a solar flare and that light is encoded with that solar radiation, that the plant will absorb that coding. And if there is not much rainfall, then that will be reflected in the flavour profile. If there have been, depending if the wind has been gentle or harsh. So I suppose this can be true for all food that we're ingesting, but the message definitely came from cacao that we're receiving the codes of nature in every cup. And season to season as well. I'm still learning about cacao, so I don't know what its fruiting period is, but at different times of the year we will be receiving different energetic codes. Yeah. So, yeah, it felt really like quite a light bulb moment, and I had to share it with Mackenzie in the group. But it really, I think I wrote something down in one of my journals about the waters, and the waters of the world are connected underground, and so the codes of water are shared through cacao, through the rain and through groundwater, and just that we're getting more than just the medicine of the plant. We're also getting the medicine of the elements.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Cacao feels so elemental to me. I think about that quite often as well, and I love that you saw that in ceremony so clearly. And I loved it. And some cacaos feel like more earthy, and some feel more connected to the air elements, and the waters for sure. We were talking about water before we started recording, and the different frequencies in water, and
I've just had a little because Peru, the chancho from Peru is my favourite, and then I was just reflecting on how, I suppose, special that moment in meditation was when I became the cacao tree, or I was transported there by the golden dragon spirit of cacao, and my affinity with trees, and just like I don't have a huge desire to travel, but more and more I have this desire to go to the Amazon jungle, to the Amazon rainforest, to Peru, to where these cacao trees live harmoniously within the ecosystem of that beautiful forest. So that's just a little moment I've just had.
Like feeling that desire to go.
So it's not just, and I think that's one of the things that I love about Cacao with a K is this wild harvest. So the cacao trees are with their friends, and they're living in symbiosis. Yes. And I love that. That's how I like to garden. It's what I love about being in the New Zealand bush. Just, there's not just neat rows of one plant after the other. Like if I have my way and can make a vegetable garden that's going to look messy, that's going to feel really good for me, because nature is messy. It doesn't have neat rows of one plant, another plant, another plant. Everything interacts with each other, and so I think that might be why, and like both of these cups, the pure and the blend, are both delicious. But maybe why I keep going back to the signature blend is it's also reflecting here, like that these plants like to interact with each other.
Yes, vanilla, cacao, and the chili. And also panela was used traditionally. I think it's like a very minimally processed sugar.
Yes, and quite medicinal too, I believe.
Like sugar as we kind of know it in modern foods is is not medicinal at all.
No.
But this, so you're right. They do blend really well together.
It is one of our first foods. So
yes,
sugar is in breast milk. And just last week, one of my jobs is that I'm a nature school teacher, and I was teaching about edible plants. And so actually the tea kōkā, so one, I'm just pointing to a tea kōkā in my yard. So one about that size fell down in my sister's yard, and I took it to nature school, and we ate it.
Oh, are you talking about the one that looks a little bit like a cabbage tree?
That is a cabbage tree.
Okay.
Tea
kōkā. I didn't know the name. Oh,
tea kōkā, cabbage tree, cordyline. Yeah.
Okay.
It has up to 20% sucrose.
Oh, wow.
So Māori used it as a source of sugar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. And you ate it with the kids?
Yes.
Do you have to cook it or?
So you can. Māori were great. They would utilise the whole plant. So they would weave with the leaves. They'd strip off all the leaves, and then in the very centre It looks kind of like a leek, but it tastes like cabbage. That's why Pākehā called it the cabbage tree.
Okay.
So as you strip the leaves off, the trunk appears quite white and starchy. And so then when you get to the very tip, it's quite soft. And so we just slice it up. It looked like a leek.
Wow.
And we cooked that, and it tasted like cabbage. The root you can also roast. So I will cook. I boiled it, and then we put it in. I boiled it and then put it in the oven, and then we just put it in the frying pan to heat it up at steam school. And that was it wasn't as nice as the cabbage part at the top, and so that part would be just cooked in a hangi with other food. And
we have a little bit of outside noise, but that's okay. It's Marlborough anniversary day, so people are mowing their lawns.
And that's our neighbour who has said that he would keep mowing our verge until we got a lawnmower.
Oh, how lovely is that?
I've just moved into a new house. So.
Yeah. That's so cool.
The trunk of the tree, they could eat straight away the top part. The bottom part they would use in a hangi. And then that middle part of the trunk, it also has this white, it's kind of like pith, but it's, or a starchy, I don't know, it's the cabbage tree, and rather than liken it to another food, this is, I suppose it is a bit like a root vegetable, and it's got that starchiness, and it's soft, and but then as you get closer to the core, it's more woody.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a small strip of flesh, I suppose.
Yeah.
And so they would steam it and then leave it to dry, and then steam it again and then leave it to dry, and then scrape all of the edible bit off, and then they would pound it and make it into something that's like sago.
Okay.
Yeah. So it would end up becoming like a paste, powdery paste, which they could mix with a bit of fat or water and make like a flatbread.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Cabbage tree flatbread.
Yeah.
Who knew?
And so this is the time of the year that they would harvest and eat it. They've made it through winter with their kumara stores. They've planted their kumara, and now they need something to tide them over while the kumara grow again. And this time of year is the quickening, the sap rise. So all of the sugars are coming up into the plant from the soil. Yeah. And so it's sweetest and most nutritious before it flowers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So that would be the time to harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I segue away from cacao,
No, but
I think
it's all
like
connected.
this is who I am.
Yeah.
Is that I just love plants.
Yes.
And this one in the middle of the table here, Kakao, I think is the one that led me into having a really deep relationship with plants on a spiritual level, I think. So, like, I started to drink Kakao tea when I was sick in 2016, 2017, but beyond just using a plant for its medicinal properties, I would drink a cup of Kakao tea and then sit in meditation.
Oh wow.
And just slowly, just naturally started to become quite connected to the spirit of this plant. And then I built a relationship of reciprocity, so I would exchange my menstrual blood with the plants that lived on the ridgeline up from where I lived in Wellington.
Okay.
And
like you would offer it to
so I would offer it
around
to
the plant.
Yeah. And different, so it was quite a lot of Kakao, so I would offer it to different plants through the months and harvest from different plants, so not the one that I had just exchanged with, but
Okay.
they were all connected because they all lived in the same soil.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you say this was 2016?
2016, yeah. And
Oh,
I just felt I think I told you this yesterday. I've always been a really spiritual person. I had a pause in my teen years, but in the end of my teen years, I was really unwell and was diagnosed with an immune disorder. And one of my biggest symptoms, I think, was chemical sensitivity.
Okay.
And so plants have always been an ally, and they've been the best medicine for me. And then I think the spirituality did, again, it didn't disappear, but it just quietened. I had a few experiences that were scary, I think, like seeing spirits and having dead people talk to me, and I didn't really know what to do with some of the really I suppose more confronting parts of
this
that
was
gift.
when you were a teenager.
In early 20s.
Yeah, that would have been confronting.
I was like, I'm just going to turn it off. So I kind of turned it off or dialed it down.
Yeah.
And then after I had my daughter, it was like, okay, you don't get to choose. The door is open, because I became a portal for life.
Yeah.
And I had some really spiritual experiences. When I was pregnant, at the end of my pregnancy, my daughter moved into her body, and she came down my central column and into her body. But for a while, for a few moments, I was pushed to the back of myself, almost outside of my body, but behind, but fully aware of what was going on. And she was experiencing my body with her spirit,
Wow.
and then moved into her body. And that was like, then everything was back online and at full power. Anyway, so she was born end of 2011, and then being a mum took a lot of the energy, and I suppose it was a great channel for all of those spiritual gifts. And then I became a solo parent in 2015, and
So she was still quite young.
she was quite young, and I think I burnt out a little bit, and so the symptoms, or I had a resurgence, because my immune condition goes kind of into remission, and then I get a relapse or it resurges. And so I had just burned out, and I was having a resurgence of symptoms, and lots of body aches and tummy troubles and headaches and general malaise. And so I reduced the hours that I worked, and I was walking, just a little bit of gentle exercise, but I also just found being in the bush helped me to feel better.
Yeah.
But I was walking past Kakao, and it, I brushed against a leaf, and this voice was really loud, saying hello. It's hard to describe how I experience the voices of plants, because it's not really like someone speaking to me, but it is. So it's like, how you have inner dialogue. It's like that, but it's really hard to describe. So it's like my brain, it's kind of like transformation, right? Like the message comes in through spirit, and then my brain will transform it into what I can understand.
Yes.
But yeah, it was like this, the presence of a being in my mind, and we had physical contact because the bush was kind of overgrown on the path, and I think I'd stepped to the side to let somebody else go past because I was walking really slowly. And so I had this just real presence of this plant spirit enveloping around me, kind of like you were saying at the beginning of the blessing of Cacao, of just like it's love wrapping around me. And I have since found a pūrākau, so a Māori story that talks about the creation of Kawakawa. So Ranginui and Papatūānuku, the Earth Mother and Sky Father, were separated, and where they were separated, they were connected and they tore. So there was mamai and hurt all around the edges of Papatūānuku, where Ranginui had been ripped away from her. And most plants are the domain of Tāne Mahuta, the atua of the forest, and the plants and the birds and the insects. But Kawakawa was a gift given directly to Papatūānuku from Aio, the supreme god. I suppose God, or it's hard. As again,
Creator.
It's hard to translate these things into English. Creator, supreme life force. But Aio gave Kawakawa to Papatūānuku because she had a broken heart.
Oh, because of the separation.
Because of the separation from her love, a separation from her divine counterpart. And so that's why the leaves are heart-shaped.
And I really feel that. Gosh.
Yeah. And then Kawakawa is a master healer. So since this time I've actually done a Rongoa Maori course and learned heaps about all the different plants, the medicinal Aotearoa healing plants. And it's like anything that any other plant can do, Kawakawa can also do. So it's just a power plant. It just can do everything.
Wow.
And I had really cultivated this deep and reciprocal relationship with Kawakawa in plant and in spirit.
Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful.
And then I feel like that Kawakawa also led me to Kakao.
So was Kawakawa kind of your way into learning about Maori wisdom and history and language as well? It seems like you've learned.
Not Kawakawa. No.
I'm curious what led you in.
I don't know what led me in. But so when I think about where I came from, I was born in Greymouth. But something I have come to understand about myself or know about myself is that I am patupaerehi. So my spirit will whakapapa back to the fairy people of Aotearoa.
Okay. Patupaerehi.
Patupaerehi. Yeah.
Can you explain what that means for those who don't know?
It's just the Māori word for light being. The fae people that inhabited Aotearoa before even Māori people arrived. So there are lots of pūrākau about Māori interacting with patupaerehi, some pleasant, some unpleasant. There's been sharing of knowledge. But I was born right next to a national park or on Motu Range, which is the mountain range behind Greymouth. And so I've always been a really strong advocate for nature, and came to this realization that I have come from nature to be a human, to share my message, because children can hear and converse with fairies. They get the message, the fae and the spirits, and but yeah, we really need to start looking after the land better. And there's this whakatauki, ko au te whenua, ko te whenua ko au, or ko au te awa, ko au te maunga, ko au. I am the land is me. I am the river is me. I am the mountain is me. And I suppose that's kind of a message that I want people to understand, and it's why I work with children in nature and connecting them so that they can understand that the reason to look after the waterway is the same reason to look after your body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're giving me so many goosebumps.
Yeah. And I think, and this is why I set my intention at the beginning, because so this is my spiritual whakapapa. But I don't have a physical whakapapa to Te Ao Māori.
Okay.
I'm Pākehā.
For those that might be from overseas, whakapapa is like lineage or
genealogy.
So
so I felt a little bit whakamā or shy, embarrassed, hesitant to claim what my heart knows is true. I had some really great encouragement from my Rongoa teacher who she said to me, like, what is it that you need? And I said, I need permission to be able to say I'm patu paerehi. And she said, but you already know that you are. I was like, yes, I do, but I'm going to upset people. And she said, that's part of the mission.
Wow.
But she's like, I'll do it. I'll give you permission. So thanks, Ripeka, for giving me permission. But I think that I really needed to give the permission to myself.
Yes.
To be able to say, I am patu paerehi. And then I've just had some really amazing experiences that have shown me that I am. Okay, now I just really want to share about my first time drinking cacao.
Oh, please. I was going to try to get to that anyway.
I think that it just, because it fits quite nicely into into the story.
Let's do that.
So after I had been connecting with the land and this, I'm going to kind of weave in a few stories. Connecting with Kakao.
We love stories.
I was actually at a wedding, and this woman, she was a aromatherapist, and her and I were talking about plants, and then she said, what about your women's circles? And I said, I don't go to a women's circle. I said, I really want to. She's like, oh, but I can see you there. I was like, oh, that's nice. I was like, well, I haven't been. She's like, oh, you're going to go. And then she said, oh, I can see you. You're singing that song. And then she just started recounting this song to me. She said, you know that one that says, I am the light of my soul? And I was like, she was just saying the lyrics to me, and I was like, I don't know the song. She goes, oh, but I can see you singing it. So she was also had psychic abilities, and so she was like, this is weird. She goes, I've never had such strong visions of somebody when I've just met them, but here I am, like we're sitting next to each other, and I can see you doing all of these things. I was like, none of these things have happened. And she's like, oh, well, I think they're going to happen quite soon. And I had also been trying to place where I had met Ellis. So her and I met when so my daughter and her son started going to school on the same day. So they both had their first day at the beginning of the year because they're both born in December. And
Ellis is our cacao sister in Wellington.
Alice is our cacao sister in Wellington. So she also lives on that ridgeline where all the kawakawa was.
Right.
And so I felt like kawakawa was giving me this golden thread through Alice as well, because she had also lived in this place. So her and I had also, like, she also went for walks in the same piece of bush that I did. And yeah, so we actually one day we're both on the ferry. Maddie had just said to me, this is my daughter, she was like 5, maybe 6. She said, I can't make friends on the ferry this time, Mum, because I just feel so heartbroken when we leave and then I never see them again. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, we'll just hang out together. And then we were just getting out of our car and walking, and she goes, oh, it's okay. There's Max from my classroom. I was like, oh, and his mum Ellis, who I really want to like her and I just kept on trying to figure out how we knew each other.
Oh, wow.
But we didn't actually know each other. And then we sat down on the ferry and got to speak for hours. And then at one point we both had told each other how we loved spirituality. And then I was just like, oh, I understand how I know you. And she's like, oh yeah, how? And I was like, it's from many lifetimes. I was like, we've known each other for many lifetimes. This is a past life connection. And she was like, oh, I love that. Yes. So we didn't have to try and figure out where we'd crossed paths before, because it was just that instant knowing that you knew somebody when when you meet and you're like, yes, I know this person, but I don't know how I know them. Yeah. And so then she...
sounds like a wonderful ferry ride.
It was wonderful, yeah. And then she said to me, I've just started hosting these cacao ceremonies, and I thought maybe you might be interested to come. So I think she'd done one. And then I went to every single one after that. But so the first time that I had this cacao, we drank the cacao and then laid down. It wasn't a guided meditation. Alice just put some music on, but there was also a woman there that did a light language transmission. So, it wasn't guided, but it was guided. And so I just fell into quite a deep meditative state. And then I could see this golden dragon, and it was like the Chinese dragon, long, serpentine, and golden, and it was flying above Lake Rotoiti, doing a figure of 8, and it was like at the same time I was the dragon and I was watching the dragon do these figure of 8s. And Rotoiti is a special place for me. And I just love the bush there and the lake. Like I've paddled in it, but it seems like, it just has this energy about it that seems tapu, which means sacred, and spiritual. And
I can see that. I've been there a few times.
Yeah. So then the golden dragon showed me why. So it's doing this figure of 8, and then it started to do a vortex, so it was going in a circle faster and faster and faster and faster until it got to the real tight part of the vortex, and it was just this whirl of golden energy, and we were going down into the lake, and then it felt like I was going down for ages and ages, and it was like dark and like compressed energy around us, and us being me and the dragon. It's like spinning and spinning and spinning. And then it started to slow down and the circle got bigger again. So we'd gone through this vortex. So it showed me that Lake Rotoiti is a vortex, like a chakra. And I know that we have people understand that about Lake Pounamu, or I don't remember its name, but it's in the North Island.
Okay. I'm not sure if I know it.
No. But I have heard a few sisters talk about that lake and it being a portal anyway. So this is a South Island counterpart of this lake. Actually, I've heard a guide tell me, like this was a guide that took me on my 4th form school camp kayaking, and he said, there are points of this lake where we don't know where the bottom is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Just keeps on going.
It keeps on going, yeah. And so Cacao showed me where it goes. So we went through this lake, and then we came out into a big cavernous space, and there were these huge crystals that were kind of glowing. And people that weren't of flesh, they were of light. So and I've since done a bit of, I suppose, reading and searching, and I believe that was that I had gone to ancient Mu or Lumeria. So I'd come through space and time to when the people that walked the land there were bodies of light. And then Cacao showed me how through ingestion of plant matter their bodies became more of substance, and so it was different then. And so they were showing me the first foods that the Lumerians ate was coconut.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Drinking coconut water. They didn't even eat the flesh, they just drank the water, and that began to interact with their cells and bring them from light beings into beings of substance. And then the dragon showed me how this happened in different parts of the world and how different foods brought people into flesh, from light to flesh. So like a complete different version of not Adam and Eve, not the chimpanzee, but from, I suppose, from fae, from fairy, because that's the Patupaerehi were seen to be human form, but of light, not substance.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and then, so I just got shown all of these things and interacted in this, in this meditation with these light beings, and shown that in where cacao grew, that cacao would bring people into substance.
I was just thinking that, that would be another form.
But also that these special foods now, so it's like the reverse now, so coming back from that space into this space, I can see that now these superfoods are bringing forward the light from our very dense bodies. So now we are flesh, but we've forgotten that we are embodied light. And we've let, I suppose, the denseness of reality, like it's so, our flesh is so condensed, and everything that goes on around us sort of suppresses our remembrance or our awareness that we are light beings. And so when I drink cacao, and even when I drink coconut, or when I have kawa, it's like the opposite. So these plants, their purpose was to bring form, and now it's to bring light. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I'm just like feeling a bit stunned. That's
it was
such a beautiful way of looking at it.
I was just like, I think came out from that ceremony being like, what even is cacao? Like that experience.
That was your first time.
Blew my mind. That blew my mind.
Wow.
At the end of that ceremony, it's going to make me cry.
Oh.
This song came on, and the first lyrics that I hear is, "I am the light of my soul."
Oh.
Which just, I was like, oh, I'm at the woman's circle.
Yeah.
Here's the light. And I had never heard the song before. I had only, that lady had spoken the words to me, but I would just sing along to it. And
wow.
Yeah, it was a real homecoming. Yeah, she'd seen it. Yeah, so it was like a homecoming. And I think this is something that I love about cacao, is how it weaves community, it weaves people together, and that's what that lady saw. She said the women's circles, and so I think my like my heart overflows with gratitude when I think about the beautiful people that Kakao weaves. The connection, I moved away from Wellington. I only intended to be back in Blenheim for 3 months, but I ended up staying. And I think that's the thing that I struggled the most with, was missing that community, the friendships that Kakao had brought into my life. And so then I kept travelling back so that I could sit with Ellis.
To Wellington.
And then I got to, so Ellis and I also did angelic Reiki training together.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I feel like there are these beautiful threads. The Kakao and the angelic Reiki have sort of woven themselves together for me now. But angelic Reiki does the same thing. It brings in these beautiful souls into my life.
Yes.
But
and the light into our bodies.
Yes, and
like
the light into our bodies.
Yeah.
And I think I really missed community so much. And then we had the pandemic, and then people weren't allowed to gather, and it all was quite isolating, and I just had a really personally challenging year. Couple of years actually. And then I just had this really strong desire in 2022. I was like, I need that back in my life. I need to sit in circle with Kakao. And there is a couple of people in Blenheim. Like, Blenheim does have people that provide it, but it wasn't with the Kakao drinking chocolate. It wasn't with Kakao with a K. It wasn't with the Golden Dragon. And so I just didn't quite feel like I was at home with it.
Right.
But then Kakao just said to me, it's not a problem. It's just that you aren't sitting there and receiving. You have to do the facilitating, and then you can receive that which you are after. So I began to host. And
to host circles.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So that lady had also said to me, because I think the first thing she said was, do you lead women's circles? And I said, no. She said, oh, but you attend one. I was like, no. But full circle.
Yeah, amazing.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
It got to the point where yes, I do lead women's circles. I've actually had a lot of men in my life, my male friends or my brothers-in-law, be like, Rachel, please, can you do it for the men? So
and have you?
I haven't done. Oh, yeah, I have. I haven't done just men's circles.
Yeah, but
I have done mixed, and I find it much easier to lead for the women than I do for the men. But I feel like the men need someone to hold the space so they can become familiar and comfortable with it, so that then the leaders can step into that role. So I think I have heard the call. I've heard the call from the men and from the spirit of Kakao to do it. And I did tell my brother-in-law, yes, I will, and then I haven't because I've been busy.
Yeah, it is
in the ceremony of my life. Yeah.
Maybe it's something you can pass on to one of them, and then they can run the men's circles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that was quite a
story.
Yeah, I'm just like I've been feeling all the energy and the codes of it just right through my body, like so much light and energy, and it's probably the Kakao as well. It's like all of it. My body feels very lit up.
Yeah.
And waves of energy. And I just want to come back for a moment to what you said about the plants bringing us into a more dense form, and now they're helping us remember the light. Like, I just think that's such a beautiful, like, it's like they're on a journey with us.
Yeah.
We're on a journey with them.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really seen it in that way before, and it makes so much sense. Like, we talk about, you know, medicinal plants and cacao being medicine, and that's one way in which they're medicine, and that they're helping us remember the light. So, yeah.
I think that the imagery of that experience, you know, like that I was going through a vortex. So I started in this realm, or in this dimension, doing the circles, and then it got really tight and fast, and I went through like blackness, and then slowing down and coming out on the other side. But so like an hourglass. And so it's like, that's like an imagery for polarity or duality, right? So we've got, that showed me where we had come from. And I get this imagery heaps of the double helix or the spiral of DNA. And it's like you can go as far away as possible, but then you get to that point where you have to come back together. And it's like we've gone from being beings of light but not form to beings of form but not light. Like, I feel like humanity has been through a real time of darkness, and now we're starting that spiral again. Yeah,
spiraling back into
spiraling
the light.
Back into the light. Yeah, and then also, this is one thing that I just love teaching children about, is that I say, can you eat sunlight? And the children are like, no, you can't eat sunlight. And I'm like, so then we talk about how plants eat sunlight. And so when we ingest plants, we're ingesting sunlight. Transformed. I love it. That's the word. Transformation. Yeah. The plants have transformed the sunlight. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think about that often, especially when I eat oranges or like something, you know, citrus.
Yeah.
I love citrus in winter because, and I actually get quite obsessed with grapefruit in winter because it's like nature created this sunlight in a skin for us to eat during winter.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So one of the questions that I wanted to bring to the conversation feels connected with that. Why do you feel that cacao is needed in the world at the moment and is coming out? And I guess that's probably part of the reason.
Yeah.
Do you see any other reasons?
Because I feel like humanity's heart chakra, like collectively, has been a bit closed off. Like, this is, I think my journey of well-being, my struggles to feel well and be well, meant that I didn't gain independence. And in Western society, independence is almost equal with success, right? So if you move out from your parents' house and you can make it on your own, even we kind of, like the separation of family units to living by yourself and doing all of your own things, not relying on anybody else. That's like it's been a goal. It's been that successful. But I didn't get to do that. And so for a long time, I didn't move out of my parents' home until I was 22, I think. Maybe 21, just at the end of... Oh no, I was 21, yeah. But I had a partner that supported me. So I didn't have independence in my life very many times. And when I was independent, so there was a bit of time when I was independent as a solo mum, I just struggled, and I like things just all started to fall apart whenever I was independent. Like I didn't thrive in independence, so I thought there was something wrong with me. And I suppose with Kakao I see the way that it weaves, and the times when I've co-facilitated, so I've had other people with me facilitating, have felt the most successful. And I think I touched a little bit on that I'd moved back from Wellington to Blenheim. I moved back with my parents for 3 months because I had really bad health and I needed support. And so all of these times where I've turned back to interdependence is where I've thrived. And I feel like Kakao shows me that through the way that it builds connection and community, and helps us to realise that we thrive when we support each other.
Yes.
And so I've had a change in mindset about independence equating success. And now I suppose I'm living that now because the house that I've just bought is next door to the house that my sisters have just bought. So now there are 4 sisters living on half an acre. So it's 2 quarter-acre sections next to each other. And the first thing that we've done is take down the fence between the 2 places.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And I think I also didn't feel like there was any reason to move back to Wellington away from this beautiful, supportive family unit. I think I'm really blessed, and I also feel sad that more people don't have this experience, and I think that it is a detriment to this Western ideal of independence and the breakdown of the family unit, and that we don't, like that when your children become adults that they're supposed to move out of home. That idea has, and that intergenerational living it's not a norm in Western society, but in other societies around the world it still is a norm that you would live with several generations all together. So I've just been living with my parents and myself and my daughter, and so that's 3 different generations all cohabitating and supporting each other. And it has got a little bit trickier just now that my daughter's become a teenager, and so the generation gap between my parents and her become really obvious.
Yeah, okay.
But I still feel like because they're just 6 houses down the street that we're still living intergenerationally.
Yeah.
And there's this interdependence between me and my sisters that we all look after our children. So for a wee while I didn't teach my daughter the word auntie. I was just mama, and then she called my sister Mama Steph or Mama Jess.
Oh wow.
So just another mum.
Yeah.
And in Te Ao Māori, the Māori world, it's fire. So fire is mother and auntie.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be a blood tie as well. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So I think that symbolically of that conversation, this is why we need Kakao, because it opens the heart. It lets you be supported. It lets you be vulnerable. It lets love in. And I think it lets you shift from independence, like I can do this, I don't need to share any of my struggles or my rawness or my realness. I can keep it all inside. And you drink cacao and you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had people be like, they're going through a hard time, so I offer them some cacao, and they're like, yeah, I'm doing okay. They drink the cacao, and then they're like, oh. And then the realness comes out, and they really share, because their heart has opened,
Yes.
and they feel loved and held and safe and expressive, and
it's like it opens the door to
it
connect
does.
to that connection and the ability to share.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you've made a shift from independence. I can do this. I can hold it all together. I don't need anybody to. I can let other people in. I can be supported. And even if that is just, like having a cry over a cup of cacao and being seen and heard and feeling the love, that's enough. Yeah. So there are so many reasons why we need cacao, but that's one.
That's a beautiful one, and I had no idea you were going to go there, and I love it. I feel very moved by that and by the example of your family operating in the way that you do. And I met a lot of your family yesterday. It was funny because I only knew that I was coming to meet you, and it was like, oh, your whole family.
And I love that your tour has just been of its own flow. And I did think yesterday, like, should I tell you that it wasn't the right time, because I knew that it was a lot of family and a lot of things going on. And then I thought, well, no, I think it's okay to be, like, for you to meet the real me.
Yeah.
Like, this is definitely who I am. And you arrived and we're all mucking in, doing some yard work, and
you were. Everybody helping each other out.
Yeah.
It was really
and
beautiful.
then having a big family dinner. I didn't expect, but I'm not surprised that my mum invited you to stay.
That was very sweet. Yeah. I needed to do my own thing, but I appreciated the invite. It's really lovely because I have quite a small family, so it's quite moving to see bigger families being connected and close. And
I think that pandemic did us a favour because we all, but just the way that fate weaves, because we all just happened to all be living in Blenheim, because before that we had been in all kinds of different places. For a wee while, me and my three sisters all lived in Wellington, and had that lovely interdependence. And then one moved to Australia, and one moved back to Blenheim to build a tiny house, and my youngest sister moved in with me, and then she needed some more support, so she came home. So then my oldest sister and my younger sister were here, and then my sister moved back from Australia, and so then I was the only one in Wellington. I think I still had that idea of like being independent, because if I could be independent, it meant that I was okay. Like, I think I had to change a whole lot of thinking and the way that I structured my beliefs around being sick. And so if I could take care of myself, then I was okay. But actually, I thrive when I can be taken care of.
Yeah.
So I can be okay by myself, but I'm probably struggling. I'm okay, but I'm struggling to actually, if I'm living in community, that's where I thrive. And so when we had that first lockdown and you had to have a bubble, we created a double bubble, because we had some of us that had to work from home and some of us that had children. And so, it was great. And I think I had cacao.
Good.
I had cacao, and so me and my sisters, I think that's where I started practicing leading women's circles.
With the sisters.
With the sisters.
Oh, I love it. And I think that that's such a powerful, like, lesson for so many of us, is going from independence to interdependence. Because it's, I love that you've brought that up, because I'm just reflecting on that in myself as well. And I know it's not always easy to accept support necessarily. And you're making me think it's just kind of like this program that we've been given, that we're more successful, more powerful, or whatever it is, if we can look after ourselves.
Yeah.
But we actually do need each other.
Yeah, it's the same as if, I'm just going to use, like, I want to just say this is an observation, not a judgment, but like if you put a cacao tree in land with a whole lot of other cacao trees, they're going to produce fruit, but they thrive in their natural environment, which is surrounded by diversity.
They definitely do. Yeah. And
so,
yeah, so true.
Rather than being independent, like if we think of a plantation just being independent because it's singular, to diversity.
Well, yeah,
you
cacao
get the
it grows best in a forest environment.
Yeah, when it has that
bigger trees around the canopy. Yeah. But the monoculture crops, I think, require a lot more inputs from humans.
Yes.
And, so
they will both grow fruit, but the elemental codes will be different.
Yeah. And that's one thing that is very special about this particular cacao. It has a lot of elemental codes, I feel.
Yeah.
And I love how connected in with all of that you are. It's like, I feel like when you're speaking about all of this, I just feel like you're taking me right into the earth, and then into the trees, and into the plants, and into the light, and into lumeria. It's like, woo, opening everything up.
Yeah. I like to take people on journeys.
So I've written down here, applying ancient Aotearoa wisdom to cacao. I think we've kind of touched on that. But do you think there's any other connections with this land and cacao? Because obviously it doesn't grow here.
No. And I'm still trying to figure out. So cacao tells me that it grew in Lumeria. But I don't know. So, and also I know that Māori people come from the Pacific Islands, and Lumeria does cover quite a vast range of that land, or it's ocean now.
But not even necessarily in the past, even like now, how it's fitting in with where we're at. And I mean, I guess Kakao is like our heart plant here.
They quite enjoy going together. So maybe another time, but I have done this before. I was going to suggest it this morning, and then I just was guided to not. But a few times I have made kawa tea, and then used the tea to make cacao.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, and also, I've done that a few times, but more I have made kawa tea, and that cools and then is a drink for afterwards. And I know that for some people, kawa can, especially if you, cacao, if you haven't drunk it before, it can upset the digestive system a little bit.
Yeah.
Or if you have, so I know that cacao is a diuretic, and like both with the cacao and angelic Reiki and sitting in meditative ceremony, we're doing some deep work. So we're doing it on the spiritual level, while cacao is actually working on the physical level. And so if you're clearing out a lot of stuff, that can also upset the gut. Or if you haven't eaten before you've had cacao, or if you've eaten too much, or if you haven't drunk enough water. So there's a lot at play when you have cacao. And kawa as a tea to drink after your cacao seems to just help that process be a little bit more gentle. So I think that they go well together, but they also go well next to each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to having some kawa tea later, maybe.
Yes.
I have some dried leaves in my cupboard too.
These ones are for you.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is actually along that path. I began to notice that maybe it was the council, whoever it was that they contracted to maintain their parks, would take out bushes that grew on the paths.
Oh, right.
And so one time Kakao said to me, can you take my, I was giving my blood to a big plant, and next to it was a little one that, like an offshoot, that had sprouted right on the walking path. And they said, can you please take that because it'll get ripped out.
Yeah.
And I think that was also how I began drinking. I've done this quite a lot of times. So DOC or whatever land care organisations do the upkeep of these paths and walking tracks. They cut the kawa and then they just lay it at the base of the bush. And a couple of times kawa have said to me it's too much. Like they wouldn't naturally have 7 branches of their plant cut off and then laid at their feet. And because it is medicinal, because it, like, kawa is producing this compound that keeps bugs away, so it's quite a potent leaf, and it doesn't drop its leaves regularly, so to have that much of the compound rotting at the feet of the plant is probably not really ideal. So a couple of times, actually in Kaikoura, there's this beautiful walk by Kōwhai River, because you're going there. If you want to go for a walk, it's amazing. Have you been there before?
Kōwhai River? I'm not sure.
I'll show you.
Yeah.
So I went for a walk there on my birthday a couple of years ago, and all of these plants had obviously had some amazing growth, and then they'd been cut and just laid, and the kawa pretty much shouted at me, help!
Oh, wow.
Like, can you please take it? Like, it's not meant to be this thick around the base of the plant, and we've been cut now. And like it had just happened, so the leaves were quite fresh still.
Oh, wow.
And so they were like, please, can you, like, they could recognise, just I suppose through my electromagnetic field, that I was a custodian. And they were like, please, can you take it? So I just walked out of this bush with this massive big bunch, arms full of kawa.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dried it up and had tea for months, and yeah, and there are other things that I do with it, so I can also make quite a strong concoction, I suppose, that just I will put a lot of leaves in a big pot and boil it and simmer it for a long time, and it becomes this kind of golden brown colour, and then I can pour that into a bath. So if I have an achy body, I can pour it into a bath and have it like that, or as a skin wash, face wash, and then you can also make creams and things with it. But I've only done that a little bit in the Rongoa course that I did. I haven't really gotten into making creams yet, because I needed my own space to do that.
You'll have that soon.
I will. Yeah. But I also just have really enjoyed making wairako, which is the word for tea in Māori. Yeah. So
Wairako.
So wai being water, rako being plant.
Okay. Beautiful. Well, I think that's a really beautiful reminder for all of us to work with the plants around us. And, you know, obviously this is a podcast about cacao, and we all love cacao here. But it's the plant realm just has so much for us, and I'm like forever grateful to plants. It sounds like you are as well. Like, there's such
There's a
so
saying
life-giving.
that what grows at your feet is meant for you. So I think I've learned quite a bit also about the medicinal properties of weeds.
Yes.
And so it's like when, I recently, just outside my house that I was living in, there was a milkweed, which is a form of dandelion plant. It grew outside my bedroom, and it was beautiful and luscious. And I was like, I wonder why that's growing there. Mostly, weeds will grow where they want to. But then I got really sick. And I was like, it was like, I don't know.
It was just what you needed?
How intelligent is nature that it knew that I needed this plant.
Wow.
Before I knew that I needed this plant.
So you checked out the properties of it? And
I already knew. So dandelion actually has this beautiful compound in it that neutralizes the spike protein. So we can, we could have addressed our pandemic with dandelion.
Interesting.
Some of us did. Some of us did. Yeah, I was just saying to everybody the last 5 years, well, do you know, have you had? The whole of the dandelion plant is medicinal. And edible. And it's just been vilified, I think, and called a weed.
Oh, no, it's such a special plant. Talk about bringing in the sun too. It looks like the sun.
It does, and the moon. So,
true.
When it does its seed pod, it looks like the full moon.
Oh, gosh. Oh, wow, I love that.
Yeah.
I feel so excited for you to go and meet cacao trees because, I mean, the thing that I love about hearing you speak is you almost don't even need to, because it feels like you can just tap into the unseen realms so easily, or tap into the energetics of whatever you need to. But I also think that it's going to be so beautiful for you to go and hug a cacao tree.
I'm so excited to hug a cacao tree. There is a nursery, plant nursery in Blenheim, and it recently changed owners, so I had been in there ages ago and it was run down and not very good. But I didn't know that it had changed owners, and then I went for one of the jobs that I do is teaching children about gardening. So I work in primary schools and teach children gardening. And every term the gardening teachers have their little professional development workshop, and so it was at that nursery because they've got a lot of exotic plants there.
Oh, cool.
And as soon as I walked in, I was like, oh, there's a cacao plant here somewhere.
Oh.
And I could just sense it. So that was I think that's the first time I've ever met a cacao tree in person.
They actually had one?
They had one. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was like looking around. I'm like, I can hear it.
Wow.
I could like I was saying before, it's hard to describe being able to hear, but I could sense its presence. But then I was like, saw it on the counter, and it was just little. It's just a little seedling.
Like in a pot.
In a pot, on the counter. And she said that they only bring them out when the weather is warm enough.
Okay.
And actually they're not out at the moment. They got put away over winter. So not put away, they got taken home, and she has like heat pads and
a
room that has a thermostat so it doesn't drop below 15 degrees. Yeah.
That's really interesting to hear, because I've encountered a potted cacao tree up in the far north, and I didn't know there'd be one in the South Island, so or maybe more than one.
She had a couple, and so I got really excited. I came home and I said to my sisters, I know what I want for my birthday next year.
You have to find a sunny windowsill or something.
And maybe get one of those, a pet mat. So it's like a little electric,
like heated mat.
something that it will, just not get too cold. Yeah.
Oh, that would be nice.
She did say she had seen a cacao plant produce fruit
Okay.
She said these people had it living in their house in a really sunny. So it was in the same room as their whatever heating they had, but also like some well insulated window conservatory type part. So it got lots of sun. It was a really warm room, and it had produced fruit. So
that's interesting, because I know that there are people trying to get them to produce fruit, but I haven't heard of anyone actually doing it, except the very first cacao tree I ever saw was years and years and years ago in the Auckland Botanic Gardens. They have the winter garden, so it's in like a huge glass house, and they have a cacao tree in there.
Those spaces would be climate controlled, right? They would be able to maintain a certain temperature in winter.
And humidity as well.
Yeah.
And so that one was fruiting. That was the first time I ever saw one, and I was like, whoa, that's where chocolate comes from. Oh my gosh. But that was before I knew about ceremonial cacao. So yeah, well, I hope you get to go and meet the trees, because they're so joyful.
Yeah, well, Chris and I spent a little bit of time this morning after we listened to your first episode. Then we went looking at flights and planning a holiday to Peru. It might be like 5 or 10 years down the track. I'll have to maybe coordinate with Mackenzie and come to the farm with her.
Could be sooner than you think too. You never know.
Come to the village. Yeah, go into the jungle.
Yes. That would be amazing. I want to come with you.
Yes, we're going to go with that, like a Aotearoa contingency of cacao sisters.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm just wondering if there's anything else I wanted to ask you. I love learning more about you and just like hearing all of this beauty, and there's still a little bit of water left in the... Do you want a bit of water in your cup there? Or you can...
I think I'm going to use some of this lovely source water.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I mean, I have 2 kind of final questions for you, but was there anything else that you were hoping to share before we get to the last questions?
No, I think that I shared the story I really wanted to share.
Yeah. It's a beautiful story.
Yeah. I think I'm having a big pause while I just think about like if I followed that story through to like here and now. So sharing cacao with other people in Blenheim, I felt quite like I have my beautiful family, but my community in Wellington was quite large, and then I came to Blenheim, and it was that time of like, I think it was damaging to community, this whole like keep to yourself aspect of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so I had gotten quite lonely, and I'd been through a whole lot of grief, so my heart felt like it was I actually think that grief, like they say about being heartbroken, and I've kind of made this analogy before. I was on a call with the cacao community globally, and I had just seen, because I was feeling heartbroken at that time, and it was like, your heart isn't broken, it's just cracked open like a cacao pod, and there's treasure inside. And is it Rumi says the wound is where the light gets in, and it's like cacao is showing me that heartbreak is actually an expansion of your capacity to love. And there's this thing about grief or heartbreak, it's just that your love doesn't know where to go, and but you have an expanding of your capacity for love. So I feel like I had been through this time of my heart cracking wider open, but the love it was open and ready for the love, the love didn't know where to go, and the reciprocity wasn't there as well, because, you know, when you have that heart connection with a person, you give and receive. And so starting the circles here meant that then I was able to utilize that capacity to give and receive love. And yeah, there have been some ceremonies where there have been heaps of people, but I think what Cacao has done is it has woven some really tight threads with just some like a core community of women here in Blenheim. So yeah, I don't know if I completely touched on that at the end of my story, but I think I did say my heart overflows with the gratitude of that Cacao has woven threads and connected me with community. And also, since, or I suppose also being with the community of the drinking chocolate cacao with a K, the golden dragon cacao is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
That also has these golden threads that weave us together. And so, like, it's brought you into my life. Yeah. Yeah, like this huge gratitude for Mackenzie. And it was so wonderful to meet her in person, because I felt like we knew each other, having been on lots of calls.
Yeah.
And now I just feel like that Cacao is connecting me to these beautiful people who are pillars of light all around this country and the world.
Yes. I love that you said that, because I've actually been thinking that while you've been speaking. I was like, gosh, you're such a pillar of light. And it's so funny, because I grew up in Nelson, right? And we had this like judgment towards Blenheim, that it was kind of like a bit boring, and like just, it wasn't necessarily a place of light in our judgmental teenage minds, or like young people minds.
Be discernment, because I didn't intend to come back and stay here, because I don't really I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and
maybe have that same discernment myself, or it's a judgment. And I think I found it hard to leave Ellis, because we were so close. Like, we still are so close.
Yeah.
But I think also we did that angelic Reiki training together, and all of these cacao ceremonies, and because we did the angelic Reiki training together, when she did cacao ceremonies, I was like a huge support for her.
Yeah, okay.
And so I don't want to speak for her, but like I fed in energy so that she felt supported. And I know that we've done angelic Reiki trainings together, so that co-facilitating thing that I was talking about, like, and then I feel like when there are two people, the amount of light that you can channel and hold, like, increases.
Yeah, it does a lot.
But also, I can understand why fate will end up putting people in certain places, because I have another beautiful friend in Christchurch, and so we've talked about how she handles just, I suppose, like
city life, or
and when you're a sensitive spiritual person, you can pick up on the energy of people and land. So her and I both can pick up on energy of people and land. And so I checked in with her heaps during the time of the earthquakes, and she was like, no, she called herself a shock absorber.
Oh, wow.
And so we've talked a little bit, and I've reflected a bit about like how the threads of fate weave themselves, and that people, I hear this actually a little bit in the echo chambers on spiritual pages online, where people are like, where's my tribe? Why are we all so far spread apart? But it's because we're pillars of light, and we need to be spread so that we can it's like feeding the grid.
Yeah, good work. That was kind of what I was saying, is like you're here as this holding the light
to light Blenheim up.
Well, and also, I mean, nothing against Blenheim. It also reminds me that like we never really know what's going on in a place. Like there's often more light than we can at first see somewhere, and sometimes it's just a little bit underground, or it's like you come into a place in your life where you connect in with it more, and that's why Cacao has been so beautiful, because it does help to open up those connections. And I think we are like all dotted around the country and the world, and not just Cacao people, but those who are doing the work to bring more lightness to earth and more love and more connection. And I really love that you talk excuse me, I love that you talk as well about the threads of light, because that's something that I saw that so much when I was starting the podcast. Actually, I just kept seeing like actual threads of light in my mind connecting all the hearts, and that's one of the things I wanted the podcast to be for, is to really like to like bring voice to those threads of connection. And so it's lovely that you speak about that too.
Ellis introduced that to me at the end of her, so a lot of her ceremonies, the meditation part was just, it wasn't guided, it was your own journey. So there was always intention setting and a dropping in and a blessing, and a gratitude. But then there would be a silent time where she would play some ambient music and sometimes do Reiki. But then at the end of her ceremonies, we would always sit in a circle and do a golden thread meditation that she would guide. And so I always felt the golden light of Cacao, of the golden dragon of Cacao, come down through my crown and fill my heart, and then we would send it out one hand and receive with the other, and then we would send it to the middle of the circle to go around the world. And I don't know where Ellis came across that meditation, but it's been so powerful in my life, and just in people's experience of Cacao ceremonies. And it's like having it at the end when your whole body's activated by Cacao, to end it with that golden thread. And people are just like, wow, like I can feel it. Makes the magic come alive.
Maybe we can end with that, with a little bit of tuning in with that golden thread. I think we could do that. But I have one more question for you though, before we do end, which is one that I love to ask everybody at the end. This is called Loved by Cacao, and I would love to know, how do you feel loved by Cacao?
I feel like when I drink Cacao, it takes me home. So first of all, it takes me to my heart, and then it takes me home through my feet to the earth. I always end up feeling connected to Peru.
Yes.
But like to the trees. And then, but also it takes me home. So I suppose it's like it takes me home to form, and I am the earth and the earth is me. But it also takes me home because it connects me to the light of my soul, and to the spirit realm. So I come home to my heart, and then I go home to the earth through my earth star chakra, and I go home to the light through my soul star chakra. And it just connects me to everything.
Yes. I feel that.
And that's how I feel loved by Cacao. It just takes me home.
Homecoming.
Homecoming was the theme, the blessing of the Cacao, when Mackenzie did her tour of New Zealand.
True.
And I had just started my Reiki and Rongoa business. And I'd done a few cacao ceremonies. But I did my first, I suppose, like commercial or marketed cacao ceremony, and I'm so glad that there was interconnectedness, and Mackenzie and I were co-facilitating because there was so many people. It was the largest one I'd ever done. But the blessing of the cacao was homecoming, and the meditation that came through was about, so everywhere we walk we leave an electromagnetic trail, and sometimes we can leave energy behind that we don't mean to, and sometimes we can anchor energy when we use our intention. Like when you ground yourself, you're using your intention to ground yourself, and in your web that looks like beautiful big diamonds of light that are anchored. And other times when you don't mean to leave your energy behind, it can end up looking more scattered or fragmented. And so the meditation was a homecoming, so we grounded and then we called back all of those scattered parts of our light that had been left behind, to call them home, and also to know that our traumas don't need to fracture us. Like it does happen, but we have the power to pull it all back together. Like, and that, and with cacao, we can bring it all into love. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Beautiful. So, would you like to end with
the golden thread?
Tuning into the golden threads?
I always, it's just funny because I have a little bit of dyslexia. I'm always like, oh, what hand do you hold up and what hand do you hold down? But
I get confused about that kind of thing too. So
one hand has to be up and one hand has to be down.
Do we do it over each other's hands?
Yeah, over each other's hands.
Oh, cool.
Okay, and then because I got confused about which was which, I did start doing it one way and then the other, which was quite nice because then it felt like the double helix spiral.
Oh, yeah.
And also when I do Reiki, like both hands can give and receive. I know that there's one that's dominant, but I also don't like rules always.
Yeah. I don't really follow rules either. And also some of us are more dominant in our left hand and some in our right anyway.
Okay, so I just invite you to soften your gaze or close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. And if you're at home listening, or wherever you are listening, you can just place one hand over the top. Leave a little bit of space in between so that you can feel the energy. And then you're going to send a thread of light from your heart down your right arm and out of the palm of your right hand and receive it into the left palm. And it's going to travel back to your heart. And then you can just let that thread, is now making a little circle from the heart out your hand to another heart and back around. And then we can just add in another thread. We'll send this one down our left hand, down our left arm, out the left palm, and receive it in through the right hand. And then it come back to the heart, and now we have these two beautiful threads, and I can see them wrapping around each other. It's a very strong connection of love. And then you can just send this beautiful energy. If you're by yourself, you can just send it out the crown of your head, but if you are with another person, you've made this beautiful connection, you just send it to the middle of your circle between the two of you, and that beautiful golden light now travels up through the layers of the atmosphere, where it ripples around the web of life, the world wide web that connects us all, and it ripples around the world. Our light touching all living beings and their connection to divinity. And then when we get to the opposite side of the world where we are, it begins to descend down through the layers of the atmosphere and into the layers of the earth, through the molten layers of the mantle, passing through the waters of the earth, all the way down to the iron core crystal centre of the earth, and then back through the layers again, up towards our feet. And it comes to around the outside of our body and through the back of our heart chakra. And you can place your hands on your heart and just wrap that beautiful love, those beautiful golden threads around yourself. Mā te haumahana o te kahoi o te rangi, me te wairoa o ngā tūpuna, tātou e tiaki, tātou e manaki, i ngā wā katoa, te hei, Māori ora. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. Goodness, I feel very moved and very grateful. And
Same.
Infinite gratitude.
This has been a really safe space to make my intention to be courageous and just share myself.
Yeah. I feel really honoured. It's been beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone listening. And I hope you received that beautiful golden light. Maybe we'll take that into our day. Thank you for opening your heart here and listening today. Please subscribe to keep getting episodes in Apple, Spotify or YouTube. And please share this podcast with your cacao loving friends. You can follow us on Instagram at lovedbycacao. Please take care of your heart and may you feel loved.